Hi, and welcome to this instructional video series on understanding accessibility for surveys. In this series, we discuss key points and principles of accessibility as they relate to website or mobile applications, and how we can apply them to improve survey design using SurveyOptic. In this episode, we'll be looking at some specifics of survey design and some common mistakes to avoid. Use good structure. A well-structured survey will make it more understandable for everyone. A key aspect of structure is the use of section headings within a survey. Using unique and meaningful section headings will serve to distinguish pages from one another and improve the intelligibility and navigation of the survey. Section headings are best kept short and descriptive of the page content. It's also good practice to group related questions together. This makes it easier to keep track of what is on the page and reduces or removes the need to repeat instruction text. It also makes it easier for respondents to organise their thoughts. Again, good use of section headings and ensuring they reflect pertinent topics or themes will go a long way in this regard. The example included in this slide uses a section heading which is unique and meaningful, and questions within this section are all clearly related to the section topic. Headings should also not repeat, or be repeated by, question or instruction text. Doing so clutters the survey with redundant content and causes confusion when navigating with a screen reader. Pages with no headings should also be avoided where possible, as headings are needed to provide context, particularly for the screen reader user, but this will help all users and help you think carefully about the structure in your survey design. The length of a section is also important. Keeping sections a reasonable length will make them manageable. The number of questions that make for a sensible section length will of course vary depending on the content of the questions and any supporting text, but keeping sections under 7 questions per section is a good rule of thumb. This will make for a better verbal navigation experience and a lower cognitive load when progressing through the survey. The example included in this slide uses 8 questions in a single section, which is a little long. Splitting this up into 2 sections makes the sections more manageable and improves the experience for respondents. Looking at the new example on this slide, we can see there are now 2 sections, both with 4 questions. We'll see all the approaches mentioned so far as we move across to our example survey. Each section is given a unique heading and questions are grouped together into these topics. Our example generally keeps sections short. Here we can see our longer section that has been split into 2 pages, with a clear addition in the heading to let respondents know to expect a second page of questions on the topic. In addition to avoiding too many questions in a section, it's also important to ensure all the relevant text is on the page. For example, don't break instruction text over pages or place it away from the question it relates to. Instead, place instruction text where it is most pertinent for respondents, as we have here in this example. SurveyOptic automatically adapts to users zooming in to make the text easier to read. As I zoom further, question text and answer choices will adapt to fit the available screen space. As we can see, the choices here have adapted to a list view. This is how SurveyOptic will often display as it adapts to devices with small screens, such as phones or tablets. Avoid drop-down questions. Moving on, we've remained zoomed in, and this time we can see an example of a drop-down menu. Drop-down questions are not easily navigated by most screen reader tools. They are often chosen when there are many answer choices to a question. For users of screen readers, a long list of choices will be read aloud, taking minutes to get through the list. Once finished, the user has to try and make a choice, remembering all the choices that were just read aloud. Additionally, the question choices are not available until the respondent selects the drop-down, and if the respondent is using larger fonts, such as we are now with our zoomed-in view, the text may appear off-page and require complex navigation. Often a drop-down does not make it easy to see all of the answer choices at once, and this can make questions harder to answer for respondents with specific learning difficulties. Menus like this can be improved through the use of hierarchies, giving structure to a list. As we can see in this example, the locations have been organised under 2 headings, making choices easier to find. It's even better if we can filter the available choices. By asking a separate question, we can reduce the number of choices a respondent will have to browse. Here, by selecting Administration in this question, for example, the following drop-down menu is filtered to display only the relevant choices, reducing the number of choices a user will have to navigate. Where possible, however, it is better to split questions like this into multiple questions in order to avoid drop-down questions altogether. This can be done using logic to hide questions that are not relevant to the user. Here, we ask for the area of the business and the geographical location that an employee is based. The following page has a targeted question with only 2 choices. This is a much improved experience when compared to the drop-down questions we saw earlier. Avoid ranked choice questions. Zooming back out, we can see an example of a ranked choice question. Ranked choice questions can be challenging to understand for any respondent. When building ranked choice questions, the editor has all the context and tools to understand how these questions should be approached by a respondent. When a respondent is presented with a ranked choice question, it can often be confusing and lead to frustration or abandoned responses. Commonly, respondents can find the limitation of each rank only allowing one answer to be confusing. An additional challenge is the mental load of ranking a high number of answer choices. Where possible, it is better to split questions like this into multiple questions. This can be done using multiple choice questions or Likert scales, such as in this example. In summary, to keep your survey accessible and the best experience for everyone, use good structure, keep information close to where it is required, and avoid questions which are difficult to navigate, complete, or understand, and replace them with alternative approaches. Thanks for joining us in this video. We hope you found it useful. See you in the next episode.